Hello, everyone. I'm Brittany Bailey. It is one of the most shocking and horrifying murder cases to ever happen in East Tennessee. One that took two young lives full of promise and put their families through 8.
It was late at night, around 10:50 p.m., when a desperate 911 call came through.
We have new video that investigators say shows Shade Robinson's car driving away from Maxwell Anderson's home the night he killed her.
This new video comes after more body parts were found today along Lake Michigan.
On the other end of the line, a woman's voice could be heard. She was panicked, hyperventilating, and struggling to get words out. The dispatcher tried to calm her down, asking where she was, but before any clear answer could be given, the call suddenly dropped. For a moment, there was only silence. Technology gave the first clue. The woman's phone pinged on a lonely stretch of County Road 2595 in Royce City, Texas. It was an isolated farm road, muddy, with deep ruts and almost no traffic at night. First responders were quickly sent out. As they drove into the darkness, they had no idea what they would find. Then, in the glow of their headlights, they saw her. A white female was waving frantically at them, her voice shaking as she cried out for help. She was out of breath, covered in blood stains on her shoulder, shirt, and legs. Between sobs, she told the officers her name, Chasey. And then came the chilling words that set the tone for everything to follow. Her husband, Robert Pointer, had been shot in the head while trying to help her. In that moment, what began as a confusing call for help would soon unravel into one of the most shocking murder cases Texas had ever seen. The discovery, when officers arrived on the dark country road, they followed Chasey's trembling directions. Just around the bend, they found the Jeep she had been talking about. The scene was horrifying. Inside the vehicle sat Robert Pointer, a decorated fire captain, slumped over in the driver's seat. Blood covered the Jeep, staining the dashboard, the seats, and the floor. There were no signs of a fight, no struggle, only one devastating truth. Robert had been shot at close range. Detectives used their flashlights to examine the area. The road itself was rough, with tractor tire marks and muddy ruts. It wasn't a place where people usually drove at night. That raised questions right away. What were Robert and Chasey doing there in the first place? Chasey, still hysterical, claimed she had been stuck while driving and had called her husband to come help. She insisted she never used that road before and had only ended up there because she missed a turn. As investigators looked closer, they confirmed Robert's fate. The shot had been direct, powerful, and fatal. The wadding from the shotgun shell was still lodged in his skull, leaving no chance of survival. In the middle of that quiet Texas night, the life of a respected firefighter and father of 3 had been violently ended, and the mystery of who pulled the trigger was only just beginning. Chasey's story shaken and sobbing, Chasey tried to explain what had happened. She told officers that she and Robert had planned to meet at a fast food restaurant for tacos that night. But according to her, she missed a turn and somehow ended up on the rough country road. While texting Robert, she said her Jeep got stuck, so she called him for help. Robert, always ready to rescue, drove out to meet her. Chasey claimed Robert parked his truck nearby and walked with her back to the Jeep. He climbed into the driver's seat, trying to free it from the deep ruts, while she stood to the side of the road. That's when she said she heard a sudden gunshot. In shock, she didn't react right away. But then she saw the Jeep slowly rolling forward. Inside, Robert was slumped over, bleeding heavily from his head. She ran to the vehicle, grabbed hold of him, and put the Jeep in park. Chasey said she cradled his head in her hands, calling his name, trying desperately to wake him. His eyes were open but lifeless, and blood covered her clothes as she begged him to respond. Panicked and terrified, she claimed she saw a shadowy figure nearby, a tall man dressed in dark clothing, before she ran down the road to call for help. To officers, her story sounded emotional and believable, but small details already raised doubts. Why would a random gunman be waiting on a deserted road in the middle of the night? A troubled marriage. As the night wore on and investigators questioned Chasey further, her story began to drift away from grief and into something else. Sitting in the back of a squad car, she admitted that her marriage to Robert was far from perfect. She told officers that she was unhappy, that she had been young and stupid when they married, and that lately, Robert wanted to take custody of their daughter away from her. To detectives, it was striking. Her husband's body was still warm in the Jeep, yet she was already talking about marital problems. Chasey described how she and Robert had grown apart over the years. They slept in separate bedrooms, rarely shared affection, and she claimed he had a temper. She even suggested that testosterone treatments had made him aggressive, sometimes violent. But when detectives later asked Robert's ex-wife and his older daughters, they denied these claims. They said Robert was never abusive, calling Chasey's accusations lies meant to twist the truth. The couple's history was complicated. Robert had been married before, a high school sweetheart named Amy, with whom he had 2 daughters. After their divorce, he met Chasey, who was much younger. At first, the relationship was passionate, but by 2016, nearly 7 years into marriage, the spark had faded. Chasey admitted she wanted out, and while investigators listened carefully, one thought grew stronger. Was this a grieving widow, or a woman laying the groundwork for a darker story? Lies and affairs digging deeper into Chasey's life. Investigators soon uncovered secrets that painted a very different picture of her marriage. By her own admission, she had grown distant from Robert and began seeking attention elsewhere. After losing more than 100 pounds through strict dieting and exercise, Chasey said she felt more confident. With that confidence came late-night outings, hidden messages, and a string of affairs. Robert's daughters suspected something long before. Natalie, one of his older girls, had once found Chasey's Facebook account open on the family computer. What she saw shocked her. Explicit conversations with other men, sexual and graphic. Robert, hurt and suspicious, even installed a camera at their home to catch her sneaking out. And just days before his murder, he confronted another man who had come to their door. Chasey, however, told a different story. She claimed Robert wasn't attracted to her anymore, that she tried to win back his attention with a photo shoot, but it wasn't enough. She admitted she sought comfort in other men, saying she wanted freedom and fun, not control and rules. To Robert's family, though, it seemed clear. She was living a double life, manipulating her husband while secretly chasing other relationships. When detectives heard about her lovers, instead it sounded like a motive slowly taking shape, one that had nothing to do with shadows in the trees and everything to do with betrayal. The suspect, Garza. The investigation took a sharp turn when Chasey slipped up during questioning. She revealed that before meeting Robert that night, she had been with another man, Michael Garza. At first, she called him a friend, someone she could vent to. But when detectives pressed her, she admitted they were lovers. That admission set off alarms. Why was Chasey with another man just hours before her husband was killed? Detectives soon learned more about Garza, a truck driver she had met through Facebook in the summer of 2016. Their relationship wasn't just casual, it was intimate and passionate, marked by secret visits and constant texting. Investigators began to suspect that Chasey wasn't the helpless wife caught in a random attack. Instead, she might have lured Robert to that dark farm road with Garza waiting in the shadows. Under pressure, Chasey's story shifted again. She said Garza had come with her that night and wanted to confront Robert. She claimed she tried to stop him, even shouting, "Stop," before the gun went off, but her words sounded rehearsed. Prosecutors later argued that only Chasey could have led Robert to that exact spot. Only she had the power to make him come rushing out, unguarded, to help her. What started as an alibi crumbled into suspicion. With Garza's name now on record, investigators had their suspected shooter, and more reason than ever to believe Chasey wasn't just a witness. She was part of the plan, the one who lured Robert to his death. They showed the jury thousands of her text messages, revealing her affairs, her lies, and her complaints about Robert. They highlighted the life insurance change and her calm shift from grieving widow to bitter wife on the very night of the murder. To them, Chasey had walked Robert straight into an ambush. Justice was served, but the tragedy of September 9, 2016, would forever haunt those who loved him.